Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Karen J. Quarles. I am a leadership and lifestyle design coach, and I am coming on here because I want to talk about something that has been on my mind. And it's even been some things that I've talked to a few of my clients about, and things that I've had to go through in my own mind and how to navigate it and all those good things. So I was talking to a client of mine, and she was asking me questions about consistency. Right? And I know for some of us, consistency can be a bit of a challenge. It's a bit of a struggle. Sometimes you don't know how to find your groove in that space of consistency. I know for me, that was a challenge after I left my 9-to-5 job, right? Because we are used to a different schedule and rhythm that is pretty much established by the confines of whatever that institution or that organization represents. And it's easy to be consistent, easier to be consistent when you know you have to go to a job, and if you clock in or if your salary, you know that you have to be there at a specific time for a certain amount of time, and you have a specific set of duties to fulfill. And it's kind of hard for you to fly under the radar because there may be a meeting that you have to present at. So you have to do the things that you're employed to do, right? So within the confines of all that, it's easier to be consistent. But she said, what do you do when you are a business owner and you're not really sure about how to remain consistent in your business and your day-to-day activities? And one day you say, okay, tomorrow I'm going to do all of these different things, and then tomorrow comes and you never do the things. Right? Can anybody relate? Because I know I have done that too. You say you're going to do all the things and you end up doing none of the things. And then that actually becomes a consistent cycle in your life. So it's not that we don't know how to be consistent. It's that the question then becomes, why is it that we are so comfortable breaking promises to ourselves, right? Because I know for me, I can think over the years, I'm better, much better and different now on the other side of it. But I can think about many, many times when people needed me to do certain things, and it wasn't even always that it was convenient or easy or desirable that I even felt like doing it. But it's that, oh yeah, I'll help you because I know I have the gift or the ability to do so. And it's like you wake up that next morning and whatever it is in you says, I have to fulfill this promise to this person. And it's because I don't want to let this person down, right? So when it comes to ourselves, we have to think about the fact that why are we okay with making sure that we fulfill our promises to other people, but when it comes to ourselves, we can easily drop the ball on us. And the thing about that is that for many of us, when we make these different promises to ourselves, it's easy to not fulfill them. That's just the way it is. Like, it's easy to not fulfill a promise to yourself because who's going to hold you accountable to not doing something for yourself but you? Nobody else is going to beat you up about not keeping promises to yourself. Who's going to hold you accountable if not you? So when she was talking to me about what do you do when you no longer trust yourself because you've been so inconsistent that you don't even know that you can believe the words that you say to you. And it was a powerful conversation because a lot of it I knew had to be centered around reframing, and really changing the way that we speak to ourselves is a really big, important lesson for anybody who may be watching this and dealing with this in your own life. That when it comes to us making promises to ourselves, we have to be careful of not beating ourselves up about it when we don't fulfill it. Right? Because that condemnation, that shame that you then rest upon is not going to be helpful in the recalibration of where you want to go to in the next moment that you say, okay, now I want to try to do this again. So let's take a bit of a step back. So part of the reason that I discovered when it comes to us not fulfilling our promises to ourselves is that for many of us, we oftentimes have a cushion that is there when we don't fulfill that promise to ourselves, right? There's a level of comfort that many people have with their discomfort, that it's a discomfort that you know, so stepping out of it seems more scary than it would be to fulfill what you said that you want to do, right? So one of the first things that I always encourage people to do is to locate your cushion. Figure out why it is or what it is that you feel like is going to still be there if you do not fulfill that promise to yourself that you are now going to go back and utilize as your default settings, right? When you can locate your cushion, that can also help you to identify the ways that you are hindering your own self when it comes to making sure that you're able to trust you again. And then the next thing I would tell you to do, if we were listing these out, is to make a concrete list. And what I mean by that is making a concrete list basically means that when you were not fulfilling those promises to yourself, it's because you had that cushion. Remove the cushion. Imagine in your mind that you remove that cushion. And now beneath you is simply just the hard concrete, right? So think about that promise that you made to yourself and think about what your life would be. What would be the effects if you don't fulfill this promise to yourself? If you remove that cushion that you use as your default settings to go back to, right? If you remove that. So let's give you an example. For some of us, we may have a situation where, let's say you need to pay a bill, just for a simple example. You need to pay a bill and you decide that, okay, I promise I'm going to pay this bill tomorrow because the bill is the very last day for the bill to be paid is tomorrow. You keep promising yourself, you promise yourself you're going to do it. Tomorrow comes, you forget to pay the bill or you just don't pay the bill. And you know what comes along with not paying a bill on time is oftentimes late fees, right? So the cushion in this particular instance is that, okay, well, I have the money to pay the late fee if I'm late on it, right? If I just want to be reckless and I don't want to pay it, fine. I have, a slush fund that I will be able to pay the whatever the fee is going to be, the late fee. Now imagine you remove that cushion, which is your slush fund, and now all you have is concrete. So you made that promise to yourself the previous day. The next day comes, you need to pay that bill. You stop and you think, oh my gosh, what are going to be the repercussions if I don't pay this bill and I don't have a cushion? So imagine you don't have the cushion. This will be a bill that you simply will not be able to pay. Now, the snowball effect of that is that the bill keeps accumulating. You may get more late fees placed on top of it. And then eventually it may get reported to the credit bureau. That's the effect of it. That's just a really quick, simple example about what that could possibly look like. Now, when it comes to the third step that I think is very important in this process, and I'm going to drive this all and wrap it in a pretty bow so it makes perfect sense. The last thing you want to do after you make that concrete list is that you want to apologize and forgive yourself. The reason why it's difficult for many of us to go back to the beginning to trust ourselves is because we have not apologized and forgiven ourselves for not doing what we promised. We will apologize to other people if we fall short, but for some reason we don't think that we are due the same amount of respect and acknowledgement from ourselves when we may have fallen short on our own selves. So making sure that you apologize to yourself and forgive yourself is so paramount. And it doesn't mean that you're not trustworthy. It just means that you have the ability and the opportunity to begin again. Now, this is why those steps are important, is because I want you to think about the cushion, the concrete, and the apology, right? The cushion, the concrete, and the apology. Because here's the thing about really, really understanding who you are as a person. You are worthy of your own follow through. You are worthy of your own goodness. You are worthy of everything that you have given to everybody else, but have withheld from yourself. What a lot of people don't understand is that in the process of you neglecting yourself, it's because you actually fulfilled something for somebody else that probably should have been a no. And it's okay when you say no to people, but the thing about it is that people pleasing can be a very discreet and subtle thing that rises up, and it's under the guise, oh, I just want to help this person, I just want to do this. And it's like, no, there's something in you that thinks that you're not worthy, that thinks that you don't deserve what everybody else deserves from you, and that is not true. So the question remains, how do you learn to trust yourself again? You go through those steps. You locate your cushion and try to understand, what is it that I have in my life that prevents me from operating with a level of urgency that I would with other people for myself? Why is it not urgent or important or imperative that I keep my promises to myself? The second thing is to make a concrete list. If I had that cushion removed and I no longer had, and I only had concrete resting underneath me, what would be the effect? What is the actual effect of me not having that cushion that I thought I had before? If it's removed, how will I now operate in this life? What will my life now look like if I don't keep this promise to myself, right? So put that in front of you so you can actually see, what would those effects be? Because sometimes we don't think about it in a deep way, or a deep enough way for change to happen. Now, after you do that, apologize to yourself. You are worthy of your own apology. Apologize to yourself. And after you apologize to yourself, forgive, right? Forgiveness is a clean slate for you to now, another day, create a new promise for yourself. And this time you do it from the lens of urgency and understanding that you are worth the same love, attention, respect, and honor that you give to other people that you sometimes withhold from yourself. So how do you learn to trust yourself again? Apologize to yourself and forgive yourself. And tomorrow, create a new promise that you can make to yourself. And this time, keep it, because you are worthy of keeping your own promises to you. I thank you all so much for joining me. I hope you'll join me again. Come back. I'll have some more amazing videos coming. This is just something that I wanted to talk about as a breakout into this channel. On here, we're going to talk about all things leadership, lifestyle, and faith. That's who I am. That's what I represent. And I'm just excited to bring you all types of content along those lines. So I hope you will join me again. And until next time, see you later.